first ride at Indianapolis was in 1927. Mr. Elliott sold his car to a gentleman, and Wilbur Shaw was the driver. Wilbur Shaw came in. He was sick or overheated or something. I was in the pits, and they put me in the car. I hadn't ever drove the Indianapolis Speedway. I started warming the car up to see that the engine didn't leak oil.
Louis Meyer was an amazing story. To be a mechanic, and they needed a driver, so they put Louis in, and he finished the race. And then the next time, Louis won the race.
That was during the real Depression times. When the race was over, it was one of these real nice hot days. And I needed some buttermilk real bad. Anyhow, they got me a bottle of milk, and that certainly tastes good after 500 miles in that hot weather.
As I look back, you know, the fact that when Louis Myers did this was back during the Depression, and the fact that this drink of milk inspired a generation so much at that point, in the times that we're in now, that milk can be for our community and our family.
The drinking of a milk is emblematic of a hero, not just sports heroes, but people heroes in everyday life. And I know when that milk is raised in victory lane and it touches the lips of the driver, it really symbolizes all the things that make us so proud to be part of this community who's come together to battle a disease that we can't see and we can't feel, but we know is there. And
we work so hard with community outreach, and when the Indy 500 comes and they see another Plymouth resident in the winner's circle, I think they'll be so excited and share with us the excitement of the milk in the winner's circle and that winner drinking the milk.
And I don't think Louis knew he was going to start that tradition, but it's been so special today, and we're going to be able to celebrate just like Louis Meyer did with that bottle of milk. And I know it's important for the Indy 500 winner. It's important for all of us to see those moments of celebration, and that bottle of milk just celebrates that perfectly.
When we're at our darkest hour, we grasp for legends to guide our way. A memorable three-time winner who, on an impulse, changed the face of racing lore with a simple drink of milk that made us all whole again. For all who believe that we can provide so much for so many, that this moment will never leave our memories or our lips, that we believe in champions, and they are in our midst.
Welcome, race fans, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jenny Browning, the CEO of American Dairy Association Indiana. And on behalf of our 800 Hoosier Dairy Farm families, welcome to the 46th annual Fastest Rookie of the Year Award celebration. Louis Meyer, what a great gentleman, a great champion, and a great tradition. For decades, Indiana dairy farmers have championed two of the longest running programs at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway: the post-race victory bottle of milk tradition and the Fastest Rookie of the Year award. The Indiana dairy community is a proud partner of the Indianapolis 500, celebrating the healthy benefits of milk and the competitive energy of open-wheel racing to an international audience every year in May. Well, it's August, and we've spent some challenging days since May finding our way through a world that's been turned upside down, masked, and socially distanced. That finally accumulates on Sunday when we tune back in on radio and TV to hear a familiar, high-pitched sound of 33 cars on the world's grandest track, screaming down the front straight in response to the command, "Drivers, start your engines." In less than a week, eyes turned to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to applaud the drivers' daring, marvel at their accomplishments, and salute the winner of the 104th Indy 500 with what's been called the sports world's coolest prize, an ice-cold bottle of milk. Louis, thank you again for giving us this lasting legacy. We have a couple special guests joining us in video today with their thoughts about Indianapolis and the event that defines our city. We welcome the Honorable Joe Hogsett, the Mayor of the City of Indianapolis.
This year, the Indianapolis 500 is going to look very different for Hoosiers. The roar of the engines, the heat of the sun, and the pride of our state won't be the same on a TV screen. But just like any year, the 500 will be a spectacle like no other, whose roar will be heard for miles around. So for their heroic efforts to find a way to safely bring our city the race which has defined us for over a century, I want to thank Roger Penske and the Penske Corporation. And one thing will be unchanged this year, just as in nearly every running of the race since 1933. When the winner makes their way to Victory Circle, a tall, refreshing bottle of milk will be waiting. My thanks to the American Dairy Association Indiana and all the dairy farmers, producers, and suppliers viewing today's ceremony. And of course, welcome and congratulations in advance to this year's rookie competitors. Rest assured, our city will be cheering you on as you undertake your first laps around the legendary IMS track. I hope you enjoy this virtual edition of the Fastest Rookie Luncheon. My thanks to Jake Query and Derek Schultz for emceeing today. Now, back to you, Jenny.
Many thanks to Mayor Hogsett for being such a great advocate for our city, for the race, and for our dairy community. Now let's hear from the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Doug Bowles.
You know, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is this 111-year-old iconic sporting institution, and it's that way because of the fans over this century-long relationship that we've had with the sport and the Indy 500 that started in 1911. 2020 obviously is a completely different year for all of us, and trying to have the Indianapolis 500 without fans is going to be really difficult, but at the same time, one of the things that's so important about the Speedway and makes it special are the traditions leading up to and after the Indianapolis 500 that our fans expect. So we're going to do the best we can for the fans that can't be here to make sure that we're paying tribute to those, and one of those most important ones is that opportunity to drink a bottle of milk in Victory Lane, and that's one of those traditions that's going to continue even without fans. And I know our fans will be doing the same thing at home, raising their glass of milk and enjoying along with the winner of the 2020 Indianapolis 500.
Thank you, Doug, for supporting our dairy traditions at the 500. And thank you to our dairy farmers who have worked every day 24/7, especially in this trying time, to feed our community. And thank you for those who support our farmers and also our racing community. Don't forget to check out our silent auction. There's a lot of great one-of-a-kind items, of winner's drink milk, racing items, and also our fastest rookies in the past. So make sure you do that. And without further ado, now it's time to turn things over to our MCs for our 46th annual Fastest Rookie of the Year celebration. Please join me in welcoming two of Indy's favorite sports guys, Jake Query and Derek Schultz. Guys?
Well, certainly, Jenny, thank you, and thank you to the American Dairy Association of Indiana and to everyone who is watching and participating today. I'm Jake Query, Derek Schultz, and Derek, for those that are unfamiliar, which I'm assuming is 98% of the audience, we did a radio show together here in Indianapolis for 9 years, and then that radio show came to an end, and still yet, they came to us and said, you guys want to MC this? So the American Dairy Association is not only loyal, they're also philanthropic, because here we are, and this is the first time that I've seen you in like 6 months.
That's right. I finally got you to return one of my calls this week, so I was thrilled about that. Good to see you again, my old partner.
Likewise. Hey, let's talk first and foremost about, this is a great honor, and it's a great tradition for us. When you think about the people who have been able to MC this great event that started in 1975, Sid Collins, the founder of the IMS Radio Network, Paul Page, Vince Welch, who did it for so many years, and now here we are. But it's a unique circumstance and a unique year, Derek, and I think we're all still trying to kind of wade our way through what is obviously unprecedented.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we're used to saying month of May, right? Well, it's August now, and there are not going to be any fans at the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500, so you're not going to see 250, 300,000 screaming fans when the cars, the field of 33, are coming down the main straightaway.
In the Coke Lot? Don't you usually camp in the
No camping in the Coke Lot. All that got canceled, Jake.
No, you didn't. Here's the thing. You didn't camp, though. You would actually go there. You'd pitch a tent, and then at 10:30, you went home and went to bed.
I'm sorry, did you ever camp out in the Coke Lot?
Derek, I have
So if you've never done it before, you can't talk about it, okay?
Sure.
I'm all about traditions, chugging the milk in Victory Lane, and also camping in the Coke Lot, which unfortunately we're not going to be able to do. But really, thank goodness that we are going to have a running of this race, because it's so special, not only to the people in the great city of Indianapolis and the great state of Indiana, but around the world. This is the greatest race that there is. And in March and April, it didn't look like we might have this race. So I think we're lucky just to see something on Sunday and keep this tradition alive.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And obviously, this race is so based in tradition. And the one thing about it, I think, that makes the Indianapolis 500 so unique, Derek, almost more than really any sporting event, is, and I've said this a lot, but each fan, each family that comes out to the Indianapolis 500 has an intimate personal connection, their own traditions of, you know, hey, this is how Dad used to pack the cooler. This is where we'd park at my great uncle's house, whatever it might be. And each person feels that their connection to it is the most personal connection of the 300,000 people there. And I know this year it's going to be different, but still that's not to say that the drivers that are going out there are not thinking about that and trying to carry on the best they can the show that makes it what it is. And next year we'll resume all of that. But there's also new ownership, and things are just different all the way around now for Roger Penske.
Yeah, it's funny. This storyline almost kind of gets buried with all the uncertainty that we had around the race and the COVID-19 pandemic. But what would have been the #1 storyline had we had a normal Indianapolis 500 is this is the first Indianapolis 500 with Roger Penske at the helm over at 16th and Georgetown. And I think a lot of not only race fans, but people in the racing community, drivers, teams, et cetera, were thrilled to see him take the reins of this, because when you think of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, there are only a handful of names that really come to mind. Obviously, Holman, Foyt, Andretti. You're not getting very far down the list until you get to Penske. He's been obviously won dozens of races here, but he's also kind of been, I think, really the godfather of the place, at least for this generation of drivers and for team owners. So I think Indianapolis and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar are in very good hands with him at the helm.
He's won this race 18 times as an owner, has Roger Penske. And Derek, the thing that I kind of liken it to a lot of people, you know, the 500 is its own holiday, right? It's like Christmas. So if you're going to have to all of a sudden sell Christmas, you might as well sell it to somebody who still understands that you leave cookies and milk for Santa Claus, right? I mean, it's basically like you're selling the track to Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like I've got a little bit of the white beard waiting for this race to finally happen.
Are you going to do the race mustache? Every year you shave down to a race
That's
mustache.
another special tradition that my wife hasn't been the biggest fan of. So I've decided to kind of leave that aside. But Roger has already put in a lot of great changes at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which of course we won't be able to see until 2021. I was hoping he'd take out the urinal troughs. Those are still there, unfortunately, but everything else has gotten a nice uplift over there at 16th and Georgetown.
They've been updated. Derek,
That's right.
Just so you know.
Yeah, a coat of paint doesn't relieve the horrors of those, Jay.
Look, you were born and raised in Connecticut, but your parents are Hoosiers. And I know that we have people watching really from all over the country, all over the world, when you think about the fact that this rookie class comes from all over the world. For you personally, your first year at the race was when, and the first year that you did the ridiculous mustache?
My first year at the race was 2000. I was a junior in high school, and my dad, who had been to many Indianapolis 500s, including Mario Andretti's only win in 1969, always watched the race. And I thought to myself, growing up in the Northeast, oh, it's just cars going around in the circle. What's the big deal? And when I finally went out there 20 years ago, I finally appreciated the magnitude of what was happening with the 300,000 fans and just the spectacle that goes well beyond the race, which and it's a great race, don't get me wrong, but there's so much going on besides the car race. And ever since then, I immediately was hooked. I fell in love with it. And it's been a long tradition for me ever since the Coke lot, the mustache, everything else involved with that.
Did you ever think that when you were a kid that the time would come where you would do nearly a decade of radio with an actual member of the IMS radio network?
Well, I always knew that I would be famous personally, Jake, and I knew that people would want to ride my coattails. So once you hitched your wagon to me, that was actually the best career move you ever made, because that was the longest stay you've ever had anywhere, right?
That is true. Yeah, it was a matter of time. But here's the thing, Derek, an open disclaimer. It's a great honor to do something like this today, but the difference between the two of us is you love this kind of thing, and I enjoy it, but I get terrified of public speaking, and I'm actually a little bit relieved over the fact that we don't currently have jobs, because then the expectation of us doing a professional delivery is diminished a little bit, because we're not technically professionals.
Yeah, well, I mean, if for people at home that don't know, if you were to compare our brands, let's use qualifying as an example. I'm Honda and Jake's Chevy. I mean, that's really what it's been so far.
Just so you know, the fastest rookie qualifier is in a Chevrolet.
That is true. He was the only one, Rinus VeeKay, to break that party. 8 Hondas, and then Rinus in a Chevy.
And I'll tell you what, to be able to go out for all of these rookies, Derek, there's nothing, I think, probably speaking of nerve-wracking, that is more nerve-wracking than 4 laps qualifying the Indianapolis 500. As a matter of fact, for our rookie class, I'll tell you this. A couple of years ago, Fernando Alonso was here, a 2-time Formula One world champion, over 1,700 laps turned in Formula One, as accomplished as you can get in motorsports. And when he got out of his car for his qualifying effort, Derek, I was getting ready to interview him on the radio, and he looked at me, having not even really known me, and said, that was the most terrifying and nerve-wracking 4 laps I've ever done inside of a race car. So for all of these rookies, it's a huge tip of the cap for what they've accomplished.
Oh, no question. It's an impossible feat, really. And even though the 4 turns are technically the same, you talk to anybody who has tackled the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and they'll tell you there could be wind in 4, there could be sun in 1, there could be, precipitation in 2. You never really know what you're going to encounter. It's a massive, massive 2.5-mile oval.
And for Rinus VeeKay and Alex Palou, who were part of that Fast 9, it was really, really windy out there throughout the course. I'm in turn number 3, and that's the hardest I've ever seen the wind, and I thought to myself, there's no way I would go out there, and yet they turned quality lap.
Yeah, they did a great job doing that, and we're going to talk to all of the rookies coming up here, but we would be remiss to not mention the pole setter of former Fastest Rookie winner Marco Andretti. What a great story that is as we head into the 104th running of this great race.
Obviously, the Fastest Rookie, there's a great tradition in terms of what goes on in terms of their career. There have been winners that have come from being the Fastest Rookie qualifier, so a lot to celebrate today, Derek.
No question about that, and we'll do plenty of celebrating, including maybe some chugging of the milk as we continue here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more from the 46th Fastest Rookie Luncheon.
Tony Holman was big on tradition, and he knew that fans love tradition, and I think he would be absolutely delighted to know that the drinking of the milk is still going.
I always dreamed of maybe trying to win this race or race in it. The biggest thing was just qualify for it. And then I seen the tradition of the milk way back yonder when it started, and I've never been what you call a big milk drinker, but I was awful glad to drink it here.
A.J. Foyt was almost like a son to Tony Holman. They actually met in early 1957, more than a year before Foyt even drove in his first 500. When Foyt won for the 4th time, Tony Holman was so excited in Victory Lane, and Foyt invited him to do something that never happened before, was to go along and take the ride in the pace car.
I said, come on, get up here with me. And so we rode around the racetrack. When people were grabbing us, he said, don't let them jerk me out of here. I said, well, I'm going to hold on to you as tight as I can. So it was awful wonderful to have him up there beside me.
So these 2 giants of racing history sat on the back of this pace car, and it was just a wonderful moment and very melancholy because Tony Holman passed away that October. So for many of the fans, that's the last time they ever saw him. The milk tradition, which began with Louis Meyer in the 1930s, was firmly established by Speedway owner Tony Holman in 1956. He posted prize money. As luck would have it, the winner that year was Pat Flaherty, who apparently had a calcium deficiency because he drank a lot of milk regularly. So he quaffed the bottle in Victory Lane and then promptly asked for another bottle. The prize money was $300, and the chief mechanic, A.J. Watson, got an additional $50.
Welcome back to the 46th Annual Fastest Rookie Luncheon, brought to you by the American Dairy Association of Indiana. Earlier in the program, you heard about Louis Meyer, and heard from Louis Meyer, for that matter, who started this great tradition of that cool swig of milk after winning the Indianapolis 500-mile race. But there are still dairy farmers that help carry on that tradition. So let's introduce you to a few of them who are helping carrying it on in 2020.
Having married into a family farm, I had the opportunity to learn the amazing passion of dairy farmers. Passionate not only for their cows and the land, but also for their community. As I married into the family, I noticed that they would drop everything to help a neighbor. They would go and help someone who's broken down on the side of the road to change a tire, to teach any child who wanted to learn about the machines, how to fix them, to bring everybody together and care for everyone in Plymouth. The opportunity to connect the winner with the dairy farmer and the tradition they have together, working so hard to get to the winner's circle, working so hard to bring nutritious milk to the plate, is such an amazing feeling for me. I am so excited to be able to see that milk in the winner's circle and that winner drinking the milk.
We're a 5th-generation dairy farm. Lucky enough to be able to have 3 generations on the farm at this point. We built this facility in 2016 for the next generation, wanting to take advantage of the technology of robots to help improve cow comfort, sustainability, and produce a quality milk product. The name Superior Dairy actually goes back to a dairy in the early 1900s that was in a local town that was some of the early Haynes family at that point. So there is some deep roots in the area, in the dairy industry. I've grown up around the cows and the dairy farm my whole life, and to be able to work with my family and see the next generation coming in is very heartwarming.
Now let's welcome Jill Huian of Homestead Dairy in Plymouth, Indiana, and also Tim Haynes of Superior Dairy in Garrett. Jill, it's great to see you again.
It's great to see you here today. I'm so excited to share with the Fastest Rookie and celebrate in all the traditions that go along with the milk.
I know you're a little bit of a veteran. How excited are you to get the chance to have the opportunity to do this again here in 2020?
Super excited. It's going to be a little different, but I really am excited about that tradition being carried on and the winner drinking the milk.
Okay, so Tim, you're the rookie here, right?
Yep.
So we're going to go easy on you, but I want to know, we got a taste of it there, but in terms of dairy farming, I as a little kid loved cows from the get-go, still do, but for you, it's kind of the same thing, right? This has been in your blood for a long time.
Yeah, like I said on the video there, that we're 5th generation, and it even goes back farther than that, in the community. So the fact that we're able to represent Indiana and the dairy farmers in this prestigious event of the milk and the race, I mean it's an honor.
Now with that, I want to know as the rookie here, do you just kind of stay in the wings and watch? You just watch and learn? I mean, what all goes into everything that's going on in this kind of unusual year?
Yeah, it is, but that's the whole goal, is to be able to be involved and follow the main milk giver and see what happens. So next year when it's my turn to do it, I kind of have an idea. It's not cold turkey.
Right.
Yeah, and when I had the opportunity of being a rookie, just like Rinus was a rookie this year, he's learning from the veterans. He's learning different things and how things go along with the Indy 500, and it's really exciting to have the learning opportunity that I did.
All of our dairy farmers here, like you guys in the state of Indiana, work very hard every day. So I wanted you to take us, like for a day-to-day schedule for Jake, he's up at what, 11:30,
Yep,
something
about
like
that.
that.
Usually right about now. Alarm's
I know it's a much different schedule for dairy farmers. So Jill, why don't you take us through what a day-to-day is like for you up in Plymouth on your dairy farm?
So at our farm, we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have employees that help us, but it's always constantly going. I go in the morning and raise the calves. We make sure that they have been fed and they're healthy. And then I go along my day making sure and caring for those animals. Then the other thing I get to do is I get to give the tours of the farm and teach people about agriculture and dairy farming, because I didn't grow up in it. And I love sharing that story because these farmers are so passionate about what they do, about the land, their family, their animals, and being sustainable. It's just an amazing story, and I love to share it.
Jill, of course, you'll be the milk presenter in Victory Circle for the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. And now we're going to talk to a former milk presenter in Andrew Keenert up in Fort Wayne of Keenert Family Dairy Farm. And he's actually got a couple of tips for both of you guys coming up here on Sunday.
Hey guys, I'm here.
That is correct. We go now to the Keenert Family Dairy Farm up in Fort Wayne, and here, Jill, I've done you a favor. We have the guy that did this a year ago to give you your pointers, so now is the time. Open forum, ask him what you need.
Oh my gosh, Andrew, how are you?
Hey, doing great. How you doing, Jill? Are you excited for this?
I'm so excited this year. It's going to be a little different, but I need some help. What should I really be focusing on?
Oh man, I hope you're up to the task, because it is a lot of pressure. It's a fun-filled day, and I mean, there's a lot going on.
Andrew,
the biggest thing you got to worry about is making sure you keep that milk ice cold and making sure nobody touches it. So you got to keep it under lock and key all day long.
Andrew, in terms of the day a year ago, let's go back to that, because I think the smile that you have on your face actually is from all the way from back in last May. What are your memories of the day itself?
I'm never going to forget it. I get goosebumps thinking about the whole day. I've always been a huge fan of the Indy 500. And, the biggest thing is just see the track come alive. We get in there when the sun's coming up, see it come over the track, and just knowing all of them drivers are there to win that day. And to hear Simon say that the true moment of victory for him was when he got that milk and he dumped it on his head and drank some. Just being a dairy farmer, it was absolutely honored to be part of that. And that's something I'll never forget.
Andrew, there are a lot of people asking about how different it's going to be this year with no fans, but when you were there in Victory Lane, I'm assuming it was such a surreal moment for you. Did you almost get tunnel vision, like it was only you and the winning driver there and the milk in Victory Lane?
Well, it sure did, I just tried living in the moment. I told myself, never again in my life I could experience that. And this year, there might not be fans there, but I can bet anything the Borg Warner Trophy is going to be as shiny as it ever was. And I can guarantee Jill's going to have that bottle of milk as ice cold as it possibly be. So, no matter what, who wins the race this year, it's going to be an absolute honor for them, and they're going to truly enjoy it.
And what's really exciting is with so many people watching at home, they can celebrate with the winner and raise a glass as the winner does. So I really look forward to that. So anything else, Andrew, that you really want to tell maybe Tim or I?
So live in the moment. It goes fast. I say that because my 2 years, it went super fast. And, be passionate about what you do on a daily basis. Be passionate about being a dairy farmer. Tell your story. Tell what it means to be a dairy farmer and that driver to get that coveted trophy of that bottle of milk. It means so much. And like I said, it's something that I will never forget in my lifetime. And it's something you'll never forget in your lifetime. So slow down, take every moment and make the most of it. And relay your passion, what it means to be a dairy farmer, and how much of an honor it is that milk is part of tradition of the Indy 500. Great spectacle racing. It's going to be amazing no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. And you say passion, the passion that dairy farmers have and the passion that the winner has grabbing the milk. Being in the winner's circle last year, I got to watch Andrew do it, and the excitement and the thrill of winning the race, and then all of the milk traditions and all of the traditions of the Indy 500. It was just amazing. I really look forward to doing that this year.
Best of luck. You can see you're still going to have the smile a year from now, Joe.
That's right.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew, for stopping by and giving me a pep talk.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Toast with you on Sunday.
Enjoy it, and everybody have a good day.
Yeah, winners drink milk.
Yep.
Right, winners drink milk.
So here's the thing, Jill, no pressure, but they already brought out, that's the actual bottle for the winner, right? That you're going to present. That's not getting out of your hands between now and race day. What's the one moment that you keep thinking about and you're looking the most forward to?
I'm really playing it over and over how excited the winner takes it out of the dairy farmer's hand and is just so ecstatic to be part of that tradition, to be part of enjoying the cold glass of milk, because it'll be very cold. And just being part of that iconic tradition is just so exciting to me.
All right, Tim, take notes, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Watch and make sure. Jill, no pressure.
No pressure.
Enjoy it. It's one of the great traditions in all of sports, and certainly we appreciate you guys being a great guardian and ambassador, not only for Hoosier dairy farmers, but for the tradition as well.
Absolutely.
Going to be a lot of fun. All right, stick with us as the 46th annual Fastest Rookie Luncheon continues. Coming up next, we'll introduce you to the rookie class of 2020 for the 104th Indianapolis 500, including the youngest teenage qualifier in the history of this famed event. Stick around.
At an Indiana dairy farm, long workdays stretch into more labor after sunset. A newborn calf needs watching. Barn needs cleaning. Tractor needs some handiwork for tomorrow's tasks. Just like in your own home, the day's chores are never done until the family beds down for the night. Dairy farmers and their families share the same dream with all of us, that what we all do is worthwhile. Bringing to market pure, safe, and healthy dairy foods is what they do, from Indiana's dairy families to ours every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com. Indiana dairy farmers provide us with safe, pure foods for our tables. A responsibility that takes intuition, resolve, and determination to make sure their milk is good for you and delicious to taste. Their connection with our community runs deep, passed down through the generations. They never waver from their task, ensuring that milk is always available at your store. It's not easy being a dairy farmer, but the rewards have special meaning when you can feed Indiana's families every single day. Learn more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Welcome back to the show. It's now time for the moment that you guys have been waiting for. Let's meet the 2020 rookie class for the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500 coming up here on Sunday. Through the magic of Zoom, appropriately named, wouldn't you agree, Jake?
I would agree.
Let's bring on, starting with car number 5, hailing from Monterrey, Mexico, representing Aero McLaren SP at 230.213 miles an hour. He qualified on the outside of row number 5. It's Pato O'Ward. In car number 7, the reigning Indy Lights champion, hailing from Jupiter, Florida, also representing Aero McLaren SP. Say hello to Oliver Askew. He'll be on the outside of row number 7 at 229.760 miles an hour. In car number 41, from Canada, Dalton Kellett, AJ Foyt Racing, 228.880 miles an hour. Dalton will start on the outside of row number 8. And Alex Palou of Spain in car number 55, representing Dale Coyne Racing. He'll be on the inside of row number 3 at 229.676 miles per hour.
And now to honor the fastest rookie qualifier in the year 2020. He did so at 230.740 miles an hour, and appropriately enough, he hails from a country that has over 17,000 dairy farms. He is the youngest teenager to qualify for the Indianapolis 500. He did so in car number 21, the Sonax Auto Geek Chevrolet from Ed Carpenter Racing. Please welcome the man that we will honor today, Rinus VeeKay, the fastest rookie qualifier in the year 2020. Rinus, come on up. As you walk up here, I got to tell you first and foremost, and I don't want to embarrass you in saying this, but I'm not saying that you're a young driver who went out there and turned 4 incredible laps, but you might be the first ever, I think, to come to the rookie luncheon with their parents, which is actually super cool, right? I like that.
Yeah, of course. You're just a rookie, one time, right? So we gotta all make sure we appear at this experience.
I want to ask you, before we get into the racing side of things, I think it's cool that you come from a country very fitting here. The American Dairy Association of Indiana is honoring you, and yet you've been on dairy farms since you were a little kid, right?
Yeah. Oh.
You're blocking Oliver.
Yeah, in the Netherlands, when I was on school, we had like a little school trip. We would go to dairy farms and actually milk cows just for fun. So I've grown up in quite a country.
Part of what I love about this sport is that we've got the 5 rookies and all representing 5 different places: Netherlands, Spain, Canada, Mexico, and America. I wanted to start with some of you guys in the background here on Zoom. I wanted actually to start with Pato, if that's okay. Pato, we talked to you last year when you were trying to qualify for the race, and the beauty of the Indianapolis 500 is that there can be high highs, but there can also be some low lows, and I know that obviously you went through some heartbreak last year. What will it be like on Sunday to finally live that dream, even if it's a year after you thought you were going to be able to live that dream in 2019?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this year. I think we're in for a treat because this is going to be the first race with first Indy 500 with the aero screen, so I think it's going to make the racing quite a bit more difficult. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we've had a very good week so far, and looking forward to improving our race car and trying to get the best packages possible for the race.
Dalton, I want to talk about so far, and it sounds so strange to say your month because that's what we're used to thinking, but everything's been very condensed for you guys, and you had to get up to speed quickly here in your rookie campaign. You've got obviously a great teammate in Tony Kanaan to kind of feed you some things. You're driving for a guy that won the event 4 times in AJ Foyt. And then you go out and out-qualify Elio Castroneves. I think you put together some really good laps. But what's it been like for you to just kind of get acclimated to all of it?
Yeah, the team's done a great job helping me get up to speed here. Been working with Charlie and Tony and the rest of the AJ Foyt racing guys. And this is actually AJ's first race that he's been to this year, so he's offering lots of advice, lots of help, and I think we've put together a great program, and it showed in qualifying.
Oliver, as I mentioned, you're the reigning lights champion, and you and the person that we have on stage here, the fastest rookie, Rinus VeeKay, have had a little bit of a rivalry over the years. You guys both came up the road to Indy and climbed the ladder. What's it been like racing specifically with Rinus, and do you guys push each other, make each other better out there on the track?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us, and congrats to Rinus and Alex for making the Fast 9 during qualifying. Thanks for representing the rookie class well. Yeah, Rinus and I have had a rivalry for, I don't know, 7, 8 years now. I feel like every time I show up to a racetrack, whether it's in karting or through the road to Indy, Rinus is always there, and we measure our performance off of each other because we're always fighting at the front. So it's been a great rivalry, and we're looking forward to continue that through our IndyCar career.
Alex Palou, you obviously were incredibly impressive as well, working your way into that Fast 9. And I want to ask you about this. You haven't spent a lot of time on ovals, and yet you go out to try to turn 4 laps in the Fast 9 and do so in what many people may not realize was like the worst conditions possible outside of rain, obviously. But I mean, the wind, it was so windy. How tricky is that course for you, and were you nervous for it?
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats to Rinus. He did an amazing job during Fast 9, and yeah, it was tricky. The wind was blowing for the first time, I feel. We had to compete against 8 more really fast drivers, and it was really close. So we didn't really had the best car we could. I feel like we had a better car on qualifying, but yeah, it was a pleasure to be for my first time in Indy 500 in the Fast 9. I think all the crew, all the mechanics did an amazing job to give me the best car possible, and yeah, now I'm looking forward to the race.
It's funny because, of course, we're talking about the greatest tradition in sports, the chugging of the milk in Victory Circle. But Rinus, you've put your stamp a little bit on your own celebration, paying homage to your homeland of Netherlands. So I think when you think of the Dutch, you think of the wooden shoes, right? It's kind of a stereotype, but you've embraced that stereotype with what you've done in Victory Circle during some of your race wins.
Yeah, so when I got champion in the Indy Pro 2000 in 2018, someone very kind came to me with some wooden shoes to celebrate. So, like, Daniel Ricciardo has a shoey, I did it with the wooden shoes. So
are you going to do it in Victory Lane? If you win the race, are we going to see for the first time milk, first off, of course, out of the bottle, but then you're going to put a little in a wooden shoe?
That I would really consider, yes.
If you're taking the milk, the bottom line is any way you want to celebrate it, right? It's that great tradition. Speaking of which, Oliver, I think you need some milk. I see you eating your lunch there. So you can get some milk on Sunday to wash it down. But Derek had mentioned, you guys running in lights against one another. And for those that are unfamiliar, that's that last rung of the Mazda Road to Indy Ladder Series. You won the Freedom 100. Oliver, does what you learned in those cars and racing it translate at all? Or is it completely apples to oranges when you're talking about the downforce and the size of the Indy cars?
Yeah, I'd say at the speedway, it's the most hard to compare versus a road course. You see rookies come up through Indy lights and into this new era IndyCar. They're up to speed right away on road courses, but I think it takes a little bit more time on ovals because it's a bit of a different car, especially on the speedways, because we're going so much quicker. The car's more on edge. But yeah, it's been a great experience so far. Winning the Freedom 100 was definitely one of the best days of my life, and I think the fans made it that special. So it's going to be a bit strange this year, but we know we're going to put on a great show on NBC.
You guys all have fellow countrymen who you can lean on, who have been great drivers in open wheel. Of course, Alex, in Spain, what you have with Fernando Alonso, a 2-time world champion. Oriol Servia, Jake, one of our favorites over the years as well.
Great.
But Dalton, I actually wanted to talk to you and some of the Canadians that you can lean on, because that's a great racing history as well up north, particularly Robert Wickens, and of course, still active in this series, James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, Canada's got a strong history in IndyCar, and North American open wheel racing. Even looking as far back at the last Canadian 500 winner, Jacques Villeneuve, and they're all inspirations for the young Canadian guys coming up. And I'm happy to be here and representing kind of the next generation of Canadians in IndyCar.
Alex, along those lines, Alex Palou, look, you've been really impressive. And I've talked to other drivers in the paddock that said, oh no, we knew this guy was young and talented. The way you've come over and acclimated to these cars, I know all of you guys are rookies, but for you also, not a lot of oval experience. And so you're still kind of taking everything in at once. What's been the key for you to take seemingly like a duck to water with these cars?
Yeah, it's been tough on ovals. I remember the first laps I did in Texas, I was like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to be able to race today. Same in Iowa, but I think Iowa, I gained a lot of confidence having a double header. Then coming here, it was all about having a great car. I think the team gave me a really good car and really fast. Obviously, you could see that every session, and that makes my job really easy. I just need to focus on trying to improve my driving, and then also on traffic. Traffic, I think it's harder than running alone. I could learn a bit from all of these guys, and hopefully during the race I'll be ready.
Hey, Rinus, I know a lot of people watching this may be thinking to themselves, okay, the Netherlands. I know the Netherlands has a racing heritage at Indianapolis as well. They saw it in half your helmet because you're paying tribute to 30 years ago, R.A. Leyendijk's first win here. Your mom took pictures of Leyendijk's likeness on the Borg Warner Trophy. So there is a connection there. For those that are unfamiliar, tell me about your relationship and what you've learned from R.A. Leyendijk and how it all came together.
Yeah, so actually, when I went to Indy my first time as a spectator in 2016, the 100th running of the Indy 500, I met Ari at a meet and greet in Union Jack's pub next to the Speedway.
Yeah.
And now, well, I started racing in the United States and started winning races, and he really started to get involved, and he really, yeah, wanted to be part of the success, and he wanted to bring over his experience throughout all those years, and he really has done that.
Your confidence has never wavered, and you're still obviously a very young guy, but to be able to go out, turn the laps that you did at the speed that you did, some of the marks that you've set, you've stayed pretty even keel. I mean, I watched you race in lights. I was around you then and saw the way that you would react. What's been the key ingredient to just kind of keeping that confidence, but at the same time, keeping it focused?
Well, it's tough. Of course, racing is, it's always tough. You are very, you have to drive well, but you have to have a car that makes you confident to drive hard. And it's just, yeah, it's really hard to say.
Did you know you had that kind of, I mean, obviously you're in the Fast 9, so
yeah.
You know you got a fast car, but you went out and laid down those laps, and I mean, I'm thinking to myself, whoa. I mean, you were right there in front row contention until the very end there. Did you know going into it, were you thinking, I know I'm gonna start no worse than 9, I just wanna be clean, or were you thinking, I'm going for it?
Well, Dynamic the Fast 9 was already a win for me. It felt like a win. And then, well, I knew the Hondas were going to be strong, but then I just didn't think about anything, just driving when the visor went down, and I didn't lift in 4 laps, and I think that's the key. And yeah, P4 in qualifying, so close to front row, just makes me really happy.
All of you guys are going to have your first experience coming up here on Sunday, hearing the famous driver start your engines, and I can't even imagine what that feeling is going to be like. But I wanted to go around the Zoom call before we conclude here and start with Pato. What are you most looking forward to in debuting in your first Indianapolis 500 coming up here in a mere matter of days?
Yeah, I think you said it. It's just racing in it, being in the big show, and trying to win it. Everything in the Indy 500 is revolved around winning. Second and third is nothing. So everybody wants to win this race. So we're gonna be pushing for that. But yeah, just being in it, I think it's really special.
What about you, Dalton? Is there one moment that you're most looking forward to on Sunday?
I think the big thing for me is going to be that exciting start with 11 rows of 3, and it's going to be a tough race fighting for that ice cold bottle of milk at the end.
Oliver, what about you? You have some experience, of course, running the Freedom 100, so you know a little bit about Indy, but of course a whole different animal here with the 33 cars and the tradition of this race.
We can't hear you, Oliver.
I think as much as we want to simulate the race through practice and carb day coming up on Friday, there's nothing like the real thing and experiencing the entire Indy 500 as a rookie. Of course, we're going to be gunning for it. We have 3 fast Aaron McLaren SP Chevrolets, so we're doing a lot of work this week to make sure that we're in the best possible position to do so.
And Alex, let's conclude with you. What are you most looking forward to coming up here on Sunday?
Yeah, already being in the show, it's really special. I think the start, it's going to be all new. We've been doing practices with traffic, but we never done a practice start, which is going to be interesting to have a row of 3. And then just try to get the first 2 pit stops, I think, the first 2 runs to get the experience and to try to improve every lap and try to keep up with these guys. And then that's it. Hopefully we can fight for the top 10. I think that's going to be the key. Obviously everybody wants to win and finishing second, it's nothing, but I think finishing is the first thing you want to do, and then being in the top 10, it's going to be a good result for us.
Congratulations to all 4 of you guys, and best of luck in Sunday's 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. We really appreciate you joining us here at the Fastest Rookie of the Year celebration.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Speaking of the Fastest Rookie of the Year, in fact, he's right over your left shoulder there, Jake. Alexander Rossi, Rinus, not too long ago, in fact, 4 years ago, was on stage here for this very luncheon as the fastest rookie, and then 5 days later found himself in victory lane, chugging that ice-cold bottle of milk. Let's listen to what Alexander Rossi, the 2016 champion of the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500, had to say about that experience.
First of all, I think it's just about taking it one day at a time. I mean, the best piece of advice that I got last year was that if something isn't feeling right, that you as a driver can overcome that. And the one thing, again, that I was told time and time again was that you'll wake up one morning and the car won't be quick, even though you left it the same as it was the previous day when it was fine. And that's also okay. It's just about going through the same routine that you do every single day that works for you, and regardless of the situations occurring around you, to keep doing that. And when you get to race day, enjoy the experience, but also just know that you have the tools equipped to deal with it. Well, for me, I had never been to an Indy 500 before. I had never I was a rookie, but I had also never attended one, and my knowledge of the race was super limited. So I knew of the milk, but it wasn't until a couple of months, probably afterward, I really started to understand the history of the Indianapolis 500 and what it means to not only motorsports, but to kind of American history as well. And now, coming into it, I have a much better understanding, but I think at the moment, it was all super surreal, and it was a bit of a blur. Well, for me, that was, I don't necessarily know if it was the moment where I realized I'd won, but it was the moment where I realized I was a part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and a part of the Indy 500. And as much as I had just said in my previous answer about how you treat it like any other race, it was at that moment where I realized it wasn't like another race, and that it was a one-of-a-kind thing, and that I was blessed to be able to be in that position and may not be able to be in that position again. So just for me, that's one of the few moments in victory lane that I actually recall. A lot of it's a pretty big blur.
Special day indeed for Alexander Rossi at the 100th Indianapolis 500. Speaking of special days, Rinus, stay up here because we've got special awards for you, right? We got hardware. I know, I'd love to think that you came just to hang out with Derek and myself, but I know that you're here for hardware, right? So let's bring up a man who, special day, speaking of which, Rinus, your day is so special today that we bring up now the president of the American Dairy Association of Indiana, Richard Thomas, who is celebrating his 41st wedding anniversary with his lovely bride Trula, and he celebrates it by coming here to congratulate
wow.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great to have you here.
Congratulations, and on behalf of the Indiana dairy farmers, I want to present this trophy, which is going to be at the museum with your name already engraved in it, that people in the future can come and see that who won in 2020. And I wish you the best Sunday.
Thank you very much. I didn't know this whole trophy existed, but it's it's beautiful. It's an amazing surprise, and thank you very much.
7 Indianapolis 500 champions. Their names grace that trophy. 11 winners. Rick Mears, our pole setter, Marco Andretti is on that trophy. His father, Michael Andretti, on that trophy. Tony Kanaan, Tony Stewart. So you're in some really good company there, Rinus, on that trophy.
Wow, thank you.
Now let's welcome up for our next presenter, ADA Vice President Janet Daig.
Rinus, the American Dairy Association would like to present you with the Fastest Rookie plaque. Since the trophy has to stay at the 500 track, this is yours to take home and gets to be with you forever.
Thank you very much. It looks beautiful. Thank you.
The plaque will look good next to the wooden shoe, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Now, probably the most important guy, Rinus, Tim Haynes, we bring him back up. He's one of the rookie milk carriers we talked about earlier, but he's also the treasurer of the American Dairy Association, and that means he's carrying literally and figuratively a nice big check.
On behalf of the American Dairy Association of Indiana and the Indiana dairy farmers, I'd like to present you this check for $10,000 for being the fastest rookie driver.
Thank you very much. It's my first ever dollar made in racing, so I'll enjoy this one the most.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your fastest rookie of the year, Rinus VeeKay. We got to applaud, right?
That's right, of course.
Yeah. It's weird there's no fans, you know what I mean? It's a whole new experience here
Derek,
in 2020.
we're used to it. Rinus, we're used to not having many fans, believe me.
You might have noticed that we're all about tradition here, so we're gonna bring up the milk bottles and do the milk toast. I don't think we're gonna do the milk chug though this year, Jake, because I've beaten you too many years in a row, so they didn't want me to embarrass you again in front of everybody, including Rinus.
Rinus, let me, before we get to the real reason that we're here at Chugging the Milk, obviously, but everybody wants to hear from you. So anything else that you'd like to say, go ahead and stand up here. Anything else you'd like to say to the fans, the American Dairy Association, and this great tradition?
Well, first of all, I wish there were full stands, so many fans at the racetrack to enjoy the 104th running of the Indy 500. It's been a very tough year for everyone, and well, for all the healthcare people, everyone that risked their life to make sure everyone's safe. Thank you very much, and I'll do my utmost best to make a great show for everyone on TV watching the Indy 500.
Congratulations again, Rinus.
Thank you.
Rinus VeeKay, the fastest rookie for 2020. Now let's get to the ice cold milk. In fact, we have some friends on video. They're going to help us out with the toast.
Just like Louis Meyer did in 1936 and the 2020 Indianapolis 500 did in 2020, winners drink milk.
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 Winners drink milk. Winners drink milk.
Winners drink milk.
Winners drink milk.
Winners drink milk.
I am a firm believer that winners do drink milk.
Winners drink milk.
Hey, I'm Clayton Anderson, and winners drink milk.
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 Went ahead and invited up Rinus VeeKay's parents to partake as well in this great toast, but this is a great tradition, and simply want to say to all of the drivers in the 2020 104th running of the Indianapolis 500, Godspeed to all for a safe and fast race. But Derek, let's get to the best part, right?
The toast.
All right.
Let's do it.
Everybody, Godspeed here, and thank you for coming to the American Dairy Association Fastest Rookie Luncheon. Here we go. Do the toast, Rinus.
All right.
Derek, you didn't chug.
Well, I was worried because of the mass in the situation with everything with Rinus being up here. I want him to be okay when he's starting the race, right?
Very
so let's
good
just
point.
lift him up in the air. I'm going to chug this milk.
Well.
I promise I'm going to chug this ice cold milk eventually as well.
All right, everybody at home as well. For all of you who have joined in, we know it's an unusual circumstance this year, and we know that obviously some things had to be changed just a little bit. But the tradition, the heritage, and the passion for this event and for this great, cool prize never changes. Thank you to Louis Meyer. Thank you to the American Dairy Association of Indiana. Rinus VeeKay, I should tell you, it's been 28 years since someone outside of row number 1 led lap number 1, and Michael Andretti didn't win that race, so no reason to try to win the race in turn number 1, all right? So
Thank you.
Take it easy and have a safe race. Your parents enjoy it as well. Congratulations on a fine young man. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, and enjoy the 104th running of the greatest spectacle in racing.